My name is Sydney Coulier, and welcome back to another episode of Sydney's on the Clock. So as you see where we are today, we are back on location in none other than Old School Barbecue. But of course, we cannot start this show without at least introducing or saying somebody y'all should already be familiar with at this point. But this is Chris Williams. I'm going to let him do his talk.
Hey everyone, Chris Williams, co-host of Sydney's on the Clock sports show. Glad to be here.
So I don't want to say get straight into it since I know that's one of the things I say too much. And I've actually noticed too because my family watched the show and they'll always be like, you repeat your words often. And I said, I know. But to jump into the conversation, you see what I did there?
Yeah.
LSU, LSU versus Iowa.
Yeah.
We saw how it happened between basically the legendary showdown of last year's national championship against Iowa and LSU. What are your thoughts?
Well, Sid, I was kind of optimistic early on because during the first quarter it was about 17-9, and Caitlin Clark was hitting threes left and right, and I was just like, oh, what's going to happen? Are we going to lose? But then close to the second quarter, we kind of got our composure together, and then Angel Reese started getting steals and started making things happen as well.
And I see with that, too, because like you said, early on, it was a forced timeout that Kim Mulkey had to give. We probably wasn't even, 3-4 minutes into the game, and Kim Mulkey was like timeout and completely rearranged the system. And that's whenever we seen people like Lastier and Haley Van Lith being used in different capacities to guard Caitlin Clark. However, going into this, I had wholeheartedly, 100%, I could bite my words. I thought LSU was going to win just because LSU has the depth compared to Iowa.
Well.
And they have the talent as well, too. However, talent can only go so far when you have a generational, talent. You have a generational person, you have a generational athlete. That can only do so much. Caitlin Clark had nine three-pointers.
9 3-pointers.
That is insane. That is crazy.
But also, it's just, I think the reason that really hurt us later on is we didn't capitalize on opportunity. We didn't make shots. When last year made that horrible three-pointer, well, it was an air ball as well, but all those opportunities, all those missed shots, Angel Reese getting injured were one of the keys for us for losing.
And we seen that especially whenever Iowa was pressing very hard defense going into Caitlin Clark, especially in the paint. We seen them send her, specifically having her in a situation to where she had to put pressure on that ankle, that same ankle that she actually had re-rolled again during this game. And we saw that to the point to where she started to play sloppy, and that's why she had to fall out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Once she fouled out, that was game. You couldn't do anything about that, especially when you have somebody like Caitlin Clark doing pull-up 3 jumpers from almost half court. That is insane. And she hit 3 in a row. It was drop after drop after drop. And honestly, I feel like it was one of those things that was needed because especially if you know the history between UConn and Iowa, or at least with Caitlin Clark, for instance, Caitlin Clark needed to win this game, and I think she needed to win this game for her to develop as a better athlete. And the only reason I say this is because UConn was the school she originally wanted to go to. You can hear different blogs, even coming out of Caitlin Clark herself. She specifically said she wanted to get recruited for and play for UConn, but they didn't give her that opportunity. They didn't even go to her open gyms, and they didn't even send her an offer. So coming into this next game, we'll see whenever it's the Final Four.
And Paige Bueckers as well.
My point exactly.
Yeah.
And Paige Bueckers, she's been playing amazing now that she's healed. But regardless, who do you think is going to win between UConn and Iowa from what we've seen from the UConn versus USC game in Juju Watkins, or what we've seen with Caitlin Clark, Iowa, and LSU?
I believe Caitlin Clark and Iowa will do it. They don't have enough talent. That's okay. They have Martin. They have Stokey. They have people that can do their job well. And Caitlin Clark doesn't have to do much. She's also a passer as well. She initiates the play as well. So I feel like because of their teamwork, because of their heart, they'll be able to win.
So now that we're back now that we are at the point of Final Four, who do you think is taking it home as of right now, completely, overall?
South Carolina.
I still say South Carolina. My money is still on Dawn Stanley. So you 100% agree?
I 100% agree.
But Chris, we have to start arguing on something. We think the same things a lot of the time.
But I'm going to say this. I agree with you because Dawn Staley, she has initiated the team. She has helped them reach to where they need to be.
So we can get into that much more as we continue with Sydney's on the Clock. We will be right back after commercial break.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Right now, during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda, get 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new Mazda CX-5, or get 0.9% financing on the all-new 24 Mazda CX-90. Save thousands on over 150 new Mazdas now on sale at Team Mazda.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
We are back with more Sydney's on the Clock. So, Sid, what I was saying earlier about Dawn Staley, you look at the work what she did with Aaliyah Boston. You see the work what she did with Aja Wilson a couple years ago. Every year, she has a player in the WNBA. Every year, she has a championship-winning team. This is nothing new.
Not even to cut you off, but more than a player, her entire roster almost they got declared, or at least they declared for the draft, and I believe 3 of them are still active in the league as of right now.
And Camila Cardoso yesterday
just declared
number 4 in the draft as well. So I just feel like South Carolina will win it all because they need to. You know, it's been a long time coming.
Isn't their current record 35-0 as of right now?
35-0, Sid.
That is amazing. There's not even a men's program can say they have the same run.
No.
That just goes to show you how dominant South Carolina has specifically been. That goes to show the type of coaching that they have over there at South Carolina. The fact that you can come off an entire, basically losing your entire starting lineup and still rebuilding. This is supposed to be a rebuilding year. And they're still dominant number 1 seed. And this is supposed to be your rebuilding year. Who do you have as your recruiting coach at this point? Because that's what we need to know.
Somebody making good money, Sid.
Extremely good money. But it's even, I actually just found out today, Dawn Stanley still isn't even the highest paid coach as of right now.
She should be.
Dawn Stanley gets paid $3.1 million, while Kim Mulkey gets paid $3.2 million.
But do you think that's an act of racism, or you think it's just the wage gap?
That's a great question. Honestly, it could be a little bit of both, depending on who you ask. However, given that Dawn Stanley is the only black coach out the starting, or at least out the top 5 most paid, that is alarming, given the fact that majority of these athletes are black women.
And then you can also say with the coach from who was at Virginia before, who is now at Kentucky, he's on the way of being one of the highest paid coaches in the future. but not right now.
But moving on from that topic, since we touched on the women's Final Four,
Yeah.
men's Final Four. Right now, we have number 11 seed NC State.
With
number
DJ
1
Burns. Yeah.
with DJ Burns.
Yeah.
We have Purdue with Zach Edey.
Yep.
Then you have Alabama with Mark Sears.
Yep.
And then you have UConn with UConn. I don't even need to say one player because they have like 3 amazing players on University of Connecticut's team. Do you think that this Final Four, especially given the fact that Alabama was not 100%, how would I say this? At least with the pre-analyst talks and the pre-conversations, they were nowhere. Nobody even put them in contingencies to even make it this far.
At first, I thought that Tennessee was in contention because, with Dalton Connect and Zakai Ziegler, I thought they had more of an opportunity of winning it all. Because it said it by ESPN, the bracketology said Tennessee was going to be one of those teams in the Final Four. But it didn't turn out that way.
But then again, Duke wasn't even slated to go that far either. Duke lost out in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And that was whenever Jared McCain had 32 points by himself. It literally carried that team on his back and still couldn't even make it that far. But it even goes to show you, so what does that mean for Alabama? And specifically, since I'm talking about Alabama, the fact that they had a football team the same earlier this season end up in a college, or at least go into the college football playoffs. And now you have, for the first time ever, a basketball team doing the same in the Final Four. What's going on at Alabama? Are we starting to see a legacy being, well, how to say this? Alabama already had a legacy, but are we starting to see it with both basketball and with football, like we're seeing with LSU and them when they're having back-to-back championship titles?
I'm going to say that it depends on every year. Like Alabama football is continuous winning.
Right.
But basketball, it has, well, one year, I think it was about 2019, that was with Herbert Jones. Herbert Jones was there at Alabama as well, and they kind of had a contention as well. But I feel as though they are starting something, but can they keep it up?
So who do you see in the finals as of right now? Which teams?
As the finals, I see NC State and UConn.
I agree. I actually agree with that because I actually agree. I was like to say, because I was like, ooh, is he going to say Alabama? But I think UConn just has too much of a depth on their team. But we will get into that going into the next commercial break. This has been Sydney's on the Clock with Sydney Coulier and Chris Williams.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
The winning play is the Buy Here, Sell Here event at the Team Automotive Group. Buy here and save on hundreds of certified and pre-owned vehicles. Or sell here and we'll pay you top value. Buy here or sell here and you'll be the winner at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements. And that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Now's the best time to experience Mazda during the Season of Inspiration at Team Mazda. For a limited time, make no payments for 90 days on your new Mazda. That's right, shop now, choose your new Mazda, and make no payments for 90 days at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
And we are back with Sydney's on the clock. So, Chris,
Yeah.
while everybody was worried about March Madness and what
And
was going
LSU,
on
yeah.
with basketball, especially LSU, of course, since the girls showed out, regardless of what happened at the end of the game, you had the Battle of the Bayou go down.
Yeah. 12-7.
You had the Battle of the Bayou go down between Southern University's baseball team, go Jags, versus LSU's baseball team. And Southern won 12-7.
Yes.
They won against a past national championship team,
With
12-7.
Dylan
Isn't it a great
Cruz,
day
yeah.
to be a Jag?
It is. It is.
A great day.
It's a sigh of relief, because like just going back to the struggles the basketball teams had and the struggles that the football teams had, we can now see that we're having a winning culture with Southern baseball. You can see back in 2021, 2022, that was when we won the SWAC championship, and we're just building off of it as well.
But even going back to that, Southern consistently has had one of the better baseball teams in this country, if we're going back from stats. I mean, just in the past, our school in general, if we're talking about SWAC titles and SWAC tournament titles, the most titles that we've ever had as a school has specifically come from the baseball team, with over 57 SWAC conference titles. And even before then, back in the day when it was common for HBCUs and PWIs to face each other, especially because the playing field was leveled and it was even, we were still doing that much damage to these schools. We were still dominating the schools. And this goes to show you HBCU athletes are 100% at the same caliber of at least at Power 5 and big PWIs.
There's always, like during those times, there's always, like going back to like 2003, Ricky Weeks, right? Who played at Milwaukee. He was like the, I don't know how they call it, golden baseball Heisman for Southern University or in the country. But we seen the production. We seen the production from Roger Cador, what he built for Southern University. And it's just continuing as well.
And I mean, at first, it definitely seemed like the playing field was leveled whenever the game first started. But then your fifth inning, that's whenever we saw home run after home run. You had right fielders, and you had Bradley Neal with two home runners in the fifth, and his fourth dinger of the year. That is insane. That is amazing, and that is talent. And that just goes to show, once you band together as a team, you can accomplish so much. And literally, whenever they were going into the light, they scored 3 unearned runs with the aid of two LSU errors.
Then with Brady Neal, congratulations to him. He had 2 homers as well, and then 4 hits. So, but you can see that production. So it doesn't matter what school you go to, PWI, HBCU. If you can play, you can play. So I'm just hoping much success for Southern University.
But I'll give LSU some leniency too, because how would I say this? They're both Baton Rouge schools,
Yeah,
so of course you have to
Louisiana,
support
yeah.
hometown schools regardless, given that they are 100% in their rebuilding year since they lost a lot of the players to the draft, which was great. A lot of the players got drafted, currently playing for great teams in the MLB and across other in different states. But at the same time, do you think we should continue to see, especially not preseason?
Yeah.
Because preseason games, that's normally whenever you get your big money games. That's normally whenever you get your exposure games. But actual, how would I say this? Well, not necessarily conference, because obviously they're not in the same conference. But should there be more exhibition games, especially whenever you see 2 schools who are not in the same conference but have the same caliber of athletes and the same amount of talent?
I do think so as well, Sid, because it allows them to see what they have. It allows them to see any errors that they need to fix. Like, look at going to the NI, I don't know what it is.
NAIA?
Yeah, look at that. It's practicing. It's practicing for the big game, for the big moment that you have.
So do you think there's a difference between different levels of Division I schools? Because, between the conferences, especially with football, you have FBS, you have SCS. You have big D1, you have a lower D1. Do you think that the complete division of the schools should be taken out now?
Well, I think it's kind of like a politics thing. Because, like with size, with different areas that you're at. I feel as though if you can play, you can play. So, yeah.
Well, once again, this has been Sydney's on the Clock, and we will be back with our last segment coming off of commercial break.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Celebrate this holiday season with the gift of a new Honda during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda. And now you can make no payments for 90 days on our biggest selection of Hondas this year, making this the happiest time of the year. Come save now at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
And we are back with Sydney's on the clock, but please make sure you stay tuned to this last segment because we will be getting into such an important and actual detrimental topic, especially whenever we talk about athletes and their accountability. Rashee Rice.
Yes, sir.
Rashee Rice is a
Super Bowl winning champion,
but also one of the better wide receivers, especially since he's younger, going into the league. And he actually involved himself street racing in a 9-car collision accident, which almost resulted in a fatal, or at least fatal injuries. Yeah. And then proceeded to go on the run, which caused that, or at least caused Dallas police, because this happened in Dallas Metroplex area. So it caused the Dallas police to go looking for him, trying to figure out what happened, and also put the NFL on notice because they didn't know what their athlete was and how much of a part he had to play. What are your thoughts on the entire situation and how now that it's more information about what happened, the fact that he today actually decided to cooperate with police even though he was on the run for 2 days, what does that mean for his future?
I feel as though his future's in doubt, but there's this saying that God's grace, we make mistakes in our life. We're not perfect. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he gives us another opportunity to get it right. You make mistakes, you move forward. And I feel as though, Rashee is young. He made a stupid decision that could have been detrimental to other people's lives, could have been detrimental to his life. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we have to see what happens, because I'm a little optimistic about that.
And we've seen this same rhetoric, in a sense, happen a lot with young players who have all this potential, who end up making very bad and stupid decisions. For instance, Henry Ruggs. Yeah. You have another, but his was completely different because he was definitely charged with driving while under the influence, resulted in a fatal car accident where he's currently still serving, I believe it's a 11-year sentence because he took somebody's life. Yeah. So does the NFL needs to start or at least holding more accountability for these athletes, given the fact that they have access to all this money, they have access to all this notoriety and there's fame? However, should there be maybe more classes and more character building development that needs to go into to make sure you're doing what you need to do on and off the field?
I feel as though you need to start that in the high school realm or the college realm because it actually builds them up and actually prepares them. Look at NIL. NIL is just a preparation of them getting financial wealth and things like that. But if they have a building, character building seminar or class that actually helps them become better or improve them as people. But also, I just feel like in life, again, we have choices, Sid. And the NFL can do their job and give you all this help. But you're one person. You make that decision. You make that choice. So you have to really just sit where you're at.
Well, here's the thing. There's definitely a lot of speculation revolving around the fact of whether or not he was actually involved in the accident, because he was seen fleeing the scene. But there's still no specifics on what exactly took place.
Yeah.
Like 100% for certain, because we're not going to find out that information, of course, until later court documents come out about what's going on or what had happened. However, I think it also needs to be talked about the fact that, how would I say this to where it's politically correct? Trying to make this politically correct so I don't get striked off air.
Shit.
Might just have to leave that topic alone.
Yeah, a little
make
bit.
sure
Or just say it in your own words.
I can't. I'm going to end up being struck off air.
But hopefully, with Rashee Rice, he can bounce back from this. And if he doesn't give another opportunity, this is a learning experience.
I can say I do see the NFL potentially giving him a 1-year suspension, just so they could show that there is some type of consequences for your actions.
Yes. This is Chris Williams and
Sydney Cui. I forgot my last name for a second.
And this is Sydney's on the Clock. God bless.
Signing out. Bye, y'all. I forgot my...